Boom, your main man Andrew Wood coming back, and I'm going to be doing a video that was requested by one of my subscribers. Her name is Yaoi Huntress Earth. I probably mispronounced that first part. Sorry about that. So, what she asked is if I could put in order my least favorite to favorite vampire clans, and maybe talk a little bit on the Bloodlines. Let's see how much time we have here before I get into this. So, I'm going to go through this quickly. Let me just pull up a document I made for it. Least favorite, Asimite. Just watch my video. Fucking hate Asimite. They suck. Ventrue. Don't like Ventrue. They are boring and bland to me. I never played a Ventrue. Never will play a Ventrue. Well, probably won't play a Ventrue. Would not be interested in playing a Ventrue, let's put it that way. Ravnos comes in next. I have played at least 2 Ravnoses. I liked them when I was a teenager. In fact, one time they were like my favorite clan. I really don't like them anymore. Like, they kind of show through. When you get a little older, a little wise, I'm like, I think chemistry is really awesome, and that's probably the large majority of what got me interested in the clan. To me, in all honesty, they should essentially just have been a bloodline of Clan Gangrel. There's absolutely no reason for them not to essentially be a bloodline of Clan Gangrel. They share 2 disciplines. They act just like Gangrel. They're moving around. They have a bit of a feral quality to them. They're in Gangrel. You know, any concept you pretty much have for a Ravnos, you could have made that guy Gangrel. They're real close, too close, and quite honestly, there's no need in my mind for more Gangrel. They're kind of clan. And they are, in fact, next on my list. Yes, I don't like Gangrel that much. Although the first vampire I ever played, when I turned 16, was a Gangrel. I looked through all the different stuff there, and saw, I actually think I just asked somebody, well, you know, any way you turn to mist. I said, oh, yeah, Protean, you turn to mist. I said, oh, that's really awesome. From a cinematic point, I like that. I wasn't looking for claws or any of that stuff. I said, man, turn to mist. You know, that's really something for a character to do. I like that. And then I saw they could earth melt. What was this about? Oh, that's really cool. I really like that. So I think those 2 parts of Protean are really cool. And 2 of the parts of Protean that are really dismissed, like you don't hear people talk about. It's always about popping the claws or about turning into a wolf. That's always what you hear with some Protean. But I think, you know, turning into some mist, I think that's really interesting. Earth melding, cinematically, that's just cool, you know, and that's really what gets my mind percolating, like what I can see in my mind's eye. That's what role-playing is all about for me. What I see in my mind's eye, I'm bringing that to fruition. So, I also see a lot of new players play Gangrel or Brujah. And girls, first time they play Toreador. Gangrel, Brujah, Gangrel, Brujah, girls, Toreador. Gangrel, Brujah, girls, Toreador. All the time. I mean, I see that all the time. I've seen a lot of people play for the first time. So, yeah, I do think the whole way the Gangrel put together, they're a bit limited. You know, they're definitely not the clan that I would be too interested in playing. Next is Giovanni. Giovanni really get that big rubber red NPC stamp. There's just so many problems. I mean, you can't really play them in most games. You pretty much have to have a specifically Giovanni game set up, and then you're really going to be dealing with the same sort of rigid hierarchy structure that you have in Clan Tremere. Only you can't really interact with the other vampires very much at all, so you're stuck more in there. Now, I particularly like the, I should have put the name down. I'm not going to guess. I think I know what it is, but I'm not going to guess. The Scottish Giovanni, I thought they were good. One of the big problems with the White Wolf vampire game starts here, right? So we have 2 timelines, right? The actual timeline of when they actually came up with ideas and put them into print, and then the timeline of things started here in the game world. One of the big problems with Vampire is they have these cool ideas, but, you know, you're not always going to get your best ideas right away. You know, later on you might get an idea that's better. Cappadocian is better than Giovanni. They are just better. First and foremost, they're way, way easier to bring into games. A game master, you can actually integrate them into a game. You know, the way they operate. A lot of players vibe on, a lot of players get with that. I played a Cappadocian for 4.5 years. I know a lot about the Cappadocians. Excellent clan. You know, that's the vampire character. So Jonathan of York, English knight, played him for about 650 years worth of game time in about 4.5 real years. So I really got to experience that, and I think they are really an interesting clan. There's a lot you can do with a Cappadocian, a lot more, in my estimation, than a Giovanni. But Giovanni were made here, Cappadocians were made here. So, you know, I have to come up with a reason, you know, to put that all together. in the timeline. So, Cappadocians have to go. Next is Tremere. The Tremere are really kind of limited. You certainly can interact with the Camarilla, but nobody should ever trust a damn Tremere. Come on now. They're on the Tremere side. You're sitting there like, I'm going to be bloodbound. Don't trust a Tremere. Don't trust a Tremere. Don't trust a Tremere. Tremere are powerful, though. I think Thaumaturgy is probably the strongest discipline in the game because it's so much flexibility, so much versatility, and the fact those paths are, experience point-wise, cheaper. So they're definitely a lot of interest in there, the occult trappings. I see why a lot of people like them. But you got to remember, you're not running around doing your own shit. And if you can't accept that, you can't play that clan because you are not portraying them well. You're just not doing a good job with them. If you don't have that fear in the back of your mind that, oh shit, I'm going to get bloodbound, and they become a slave to the tradition. That is really what it's about. You got to remember that. You got to remember, unless you're just scrapping everything and playing from the ground up, you got to sell some of this shit. You can't just be running around. And when you have those constraints, I think Tremere can be very difficult, very, very difficult for a lot of people to play. I've seen Tremere played horrendously so many, many, many times, and I've seen, just some terrible Tremere play. But next is going to be Lasombra. I have played Lasombra before. I've actually never played a Tremere before. I have played Lasombra before. I think Lasombra are okay. I never have bought the Lasombra as the leaders of Sabbat. It's just one of those ideas. Well, what else do we have? The Lasombra. I think the Lasombra should have been part of the Camarilla. I think the Brujah should have been the Sabbat clan because they really tried to make the whole thing, very, very political. And the Sabbat are really supposed to be a radical leftist movement, and that is Brujah. The Jemisse and the Lasombra are both very conservative clans. They, in my mind, neither one of them have place in the Sabbat. I think having the Lasombra and the Camarilla would really have made for an interesting deal, where they're at one end, the Venturer on the other, and they're trying to size each other up. They're trying to see who can be the top dog. And I think that presents more of an interesting idea because originally it's supposed to be, right wing, Venturer, left wing, Brujah, and they're fighting for control. But then they kind of made Camarilla right wing, Sabbat left wing, and a lot of the initial ideas start unraveling, and I think it puts Brujah in a position to be like, so I think that the two clans I should have put in there are probably you could have put Malkavians in there depending on how you wanted to go, but definitely Brujah, maybe Gangrel would have made sense in there. Not neither of the clans they put in Sabbat. But moving on, next is Brujah on the list. I do like the Brujah. Can't actively recall having played a Brujah. I must have at some point. Yes, I did. I remember I did. I played it in a game that absolutely sucked. Horrible game master. The Brujah are a interesting clan. I think they get a lot of bad rep. I think they, particularly when you actually remember, this are the remnants of the clan of philosophy. They're not just thugs. They're not just Nazis and gangbangers and all this. These guys are philosophers at the core. You're still going to have enough of that in there where you can really come up with an intelligent, interesting character, really put together that Brujah harpy. And that can be kind of an interesting deal there when you're like, oh, wait a minute, yeah. He can use critical thinking skills. He can rip my ass apart. Oh, yeah. And, boy, I don't really want to piss him off either. Man, this is rough. So, you got that kind of a deal there. Now, Nosferatu are going to be my next. I've played Nosferatu before. I really liked them. I played a Nosferatu and did not take any obfuscate at all. I had a kind of a different deal. I took him and his concept, he was like an FX artist before. He worked on like special effects and he made masks. So I put like these masks on him and then I put like hats and I drape him over his face so he had like this shadow in his face, just naturally enough from hats or from hoods or stuff like that. So you like look at him, oh, wait a minute, there's something just a little off there on this guy. What's going on? That was kind of interesting. I really like the animalism discipline. The discipline is just completely played out often. People are like, oh, fuck animalism. I'll just take just two disciplines instead. They don't really give animalism the just due. And if you really think about it, animalism is discipline you have to think about. And if you think about animalism, you can do some awesome things with it. You can create some very, very interesting scenes. Remember, when people learn disciplines in a vampire game, I don't just be, we just buy discipline. No, we're going to go through a whole scene for you to describe your discipline growth. And players love that, man. They pop for those scenes. And the ones I do for animalism, man, the players say, man, those are the best scenes. We love those. Those scenes are amazing. You know, I got so many great comments on the animalism scenes that I've done and how that's been manifested. And then when you have that base point, the other players are like, ooh, okay, now I got a real idea to sink my teeth in this and really use this discipline. So I've seen some cool stuff with animalism. I like animalism, but sadly it is a discipline that doesn't get the credit it deserves. Next on the list are Toreador. Yeah, that's right. Jermaine Man likes Toreador. I played Toreador before multiple times. I really like Toreador. They're a great clan. They are opulent. They're beautiful. They have that presence, that awe. I love Presence 5. Oh, that is an awesome. That's just awesome. It's like, no, I'm just cool. And you need to be cool with that. And you're like, all right. Yeah, you are cool. And that's kind of what it is, you know, they're falling around like, man, I respect you. You know, that's a very interesting deal. I really like Presence. I think Presence is a really undersold for discipline, a really, you know, push to the side discipline in favor of maybe of dominate for too many people. And I like Presence. I think it's a cool discipline. I like the Toreador, the Clan of the Rose, the aspect of becoming obsessed with art and just staring at something and pondering, pontificating upon the beauty that is brought into your soul, the inspired aspect of that. And for me, I can do a lot of stuff with a Toreador as a player. Now, I've heard a lot of people say, oh, I hate Toreador, this and that. I've never really seen too many people play Toreador poorly. I've seen some clans play horribly, but Toreador not so much. Next on the list is going to be Setites, and Setites has just recently fallen. It was number 2. Love the Setites, you know me. All the bad stuff I like. It's awesome. Corruption is a huge interest in entertainment to me. I really like the Setites. They're awesome. I think particularly the fact that they often like to target people of very high humanity and just watch them crumble. It's like, oh, you fight against us. That's fine. Go ahead. Because they know. They know when you start falling, boy, do you pick up speed and you hit the ground hard, and then you're ready. That really makes Setites. You can do some great stuff with Setites. I really can't say enough of good things about that clan. The next, keeping track, only 2 left. So number 2 is going to be Malkavians. Malkavians are absolutely excellent. A lot of people talk about the fish Malkavians. Okay, that's just some bullshit. You know, and I'll talk about I don't like the Joker Malkavians and all this trash. It's just trash. But playing a seriously ill person, I think it's very interesting. I really like to play characters that have a little bit of insanity in them. I just find it interesting. I'll do it in all sorts of role-playing games. I don't need extra points for it. Just play that crazy guy. Add that extra role-playing element in. And one of the points that I hit on the Malkavian video, man, don't play them stupidly. You know, crazy isn't funny and stupid. It's sad and terrifying. And if you put that across, particularly considering you are a fucking killer, you're a vampire, you're a monster, and you're a crazy one. We can do some real interesting stuff with Malkavians. And I look forward to playing a Malkavian. I've played several Malkavians. I've always had a good time playing them. And the next time I play Vampire the Masquerade, I might like to play a Malkavian. Hopefully we get to play Vampire the Masquerade again soon. It's been a little while. My favorite clan is, of course, Jimese. There's a bunch of ways to pronounce it. In fact, in one of the White Wolf books, they have like 7 different pronunciations. Yeah, they actually do. So, you know, there's plenty of valid point behind using multiple pronunciations in the same game. But I like Jimese. I think that sounds nice. And I do not like the Sabbat trash, goofy kind of shit for Jimese. Man, for me, I like that old clan style, that elegant flow, that opulent lord of, you know, a crumbling stone castle, this incredibly imposing, potent, powerful force. You know, playing that Dracula style, playing something that even goes deeper, you know, where you have that real earthbound root occult tie to that sort of character. Really can be very interesting. I quite like that. I quite like the Jimese all around. You know, something I quite enjoy. Now, I'm not going to hit all the lines because I'm getting long on time here, but I'll talk about a few of them. Daughter Cacophony, played one before. It's a terrible game, so couldn't really do much with the character. Maybe the only female I've ever played. True Brujah. I think they're just a fucking horrible concept. You know, they're just bad. They're just bad. I don't think they fit in very well. Old Clan Jimese, I love. Old Clan Jimese are great. I like them far better. I like the Jimese. I can deal with. I like Vicissitude as a discipline. I think it's cool, and I like the Astral Demon and all that storyline. But the Old Clan Jimese, really, they're just it for me. The different bloodlines off the Setites, like the Servants of Light, I think are pretty cool. The fact that they bring in the Haitian, the voodoo, I thought was pretty cool. The Nordic the Nordic Setites, the followers of the Midgard serpent, are awesome. They are absolutely awesome. They are great. You know, that I've actually never got to play it. I've always been a game, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna do a game. I'm like, okay, I got this idea. You know, we'll play. Just blonde hair, blue eyed, Setite, and you make him just look so much like a gangrel. You know, give him a little sort of maybe a little death metal sort of look there to him, Northern European, and he doesn't look a damn thing like a Setite, and no one sees it. Oh, that's a gangrel there. Okay, and you play that up a little bit, and that's you lock the door, you seal them in, you draw them into the darkness, and you corrupt them because they don't see it coming. I really, really, that got my mind going for a long time. It's one of the few vampires, probably just on the bucket list, so let's add that one to the list, if you understand. What were they called? The Aramon? Or something that sounded like Aramon. I think they were like the Native American gangrel that used spirit shamanism discipline. They fucking sucked. It was one of those grasping at straws, add a little more crunch to the book so we can sell this piece. The Blood Brothers, I think they're just stupid. The Kiasid, I agree with my buddy Matthew. The Kiasid are cool. I like them. I like to play with them sometime. I'm a fan. Catives, I like Catives or Panders or whatever you're going to call them. I've played one before. I think it's interesting. You need to be able to be like, okay, look, I'm not really going to get respect. Like, you shouldn't be getting respect. Even if you do like some great shit, they'll be like, oh, yeah. But, no, son, brown with your ass. No one's trying to give no damn cative respect. And you have to understand you signed up for that role when you do that. And even though you're going to get jacked, yeah, it's cool. It could be cool. It could be fun to be having to take them whippings, them lashes, them licks every once in a while. That could be cool. The Harbingers of Skulls, Semitic, Cappadocians, whatever you're going to say, really, I like all that stuff. Semitic, not as much, and I think it's a little odd to make two vampires from, Serpent's Light and your Semitic, both Haitian, it's like, it's a little bit too much. Haiti's kind of a small place. Salubri. The Salubri are a fucking train wreck. They are literally a train wreck. I know a ton about Salubri, and I'll do a video about Salubri at some point, so I'm not going to go too much into them. But they're a train wreck. The problem is, they clearly, from where they started to where they end up, like, they weren't thinking, like, okay, we're going to start here, we're going to do this deal. No, it's bad. Of course, there's probably a few bloodlines that I didn't think about, and there's probably one or two even in there that it was okay. Remember they used to have, like, the Gaki, which they completely, I think you're supposed to have just errated that to Kindred of the East type vampires, which suck balls, by the way. That's a horrible game. The favorite clan or favorite bloodline of mine, I like them better than clans too. It's one thing we clearly haven't mentioned here, and I'm sure you can guess what that is. My favorite of all the kinds of vampires you can play, all the kinds of vampires there are. I guess a lot of games you couldn't play one. But I can generally talk game master, and let me do that, are Bali. I played several Bali. I like playing Bali. Vampire is in no way, in my estimation, a game of cooperation. It is a game with a bunch of people playing their characters. I don't like the whole coterie idea. We'll get to that at some point. But no, I don't care for that. I like the Bali a lot. I think they're very interesting, incredibly interesting. And I portray them, and they can work quite well as player characters. So, that is the answer to all those questions. And I look forward to seeing your list, 1 to 13, or just put your top 5, whatever, the least favorite 5, whatever, just put them in. Let's hear the comments.